Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage, and today we're back on our 2019 Toyota Tacoma Off-Road Edition. Alright, like I said, we're back on our Toyota. Excuse the noise, I got ACs on. It is like 97 degrees outside, high humidity in North Carolina. That means it is hot. But I'm in here, nice and cool. So if you checked out our other videos, especially our last one, you would know that we installed this Redtiger Dashcam. It's been working out pretty well so far. The video quality is pretty decent. Haven't found anything that I really wanted to use in a video for it, but it's actually been working out pretty good. I do like that it's actually up there. Anyway, what we're actually going to do today is actually hardwire that one in. If you checked out the other video, like I said, we actually put it into the cigarette lighter. Well, that's one way of doing it, but it doesn't exactly give me the option for the parking assist. And when I say parking assist, is that if you have this thing parked and somebody bumps into you, somebody rocks it, somebody has a really loud noise around it, it's going to turn that camera on and start recording. Well, right now I can't do that because it doesn't have power. As soon as you turn the key off, boom, you're done. It's not going to work. So what I actually went out and did is did a little more research, what I should have done the first time, and picked up this guy right here. This is just a simple little installation kit from Redtiger, and it will hardwire into your fuse panel and then go out to the actual camera itself. Now what this is going to do is you have one for your battery and you have one for ACC. So when the car is on, it's going to know, hey, I'm on ACC, we're good to go. We're going to have it running the whole time. But if you turn it off and it doesn't get signal to the AC, it's going to sit there and say, okay, now I'm in parking mode. This should be a very simple installation. You do have to keep in mind of your type of fuse that you have in your vehicle. In this particular one here, we have, so we have these little tiny itty bitty minis. Now this is a what, 30 amp. It's not what we're going to use. It's just an extra one I have laying around. But anyway, so yeah, it uses these minis. Now these guys right here are also minis, but they're a little bit different. And if you really look at it really close, which is really hard to look at, they look completely different. But these will fit in place of these. The only problem that we have, which I'm getting ready to show you, is that we can't put the faceplate on because we're going to have these guys sticking out. I can get around that. Totally fine. It's not like it's a Ford and it doesn't have labels on it. I'm just going to put that in the glove, put a little cover in the glove box because it does have labels on it. Sorry, Ford owners. They just don't put it on their covers. All right, so let's go kick on some lights, get underneath the dash, and go ahead and wire this guy up. Quick, short, and to the point. As soon as I get rid of these little twisty ties. All right, here we are on the driver's side, and that's where the first of the two fuse panels live. Now, if you open up the case, you get your little cover, and you figure out which ones you want to use. Now, my little dab at Ford's earlier, they don't usually label these. Some of them, yeah, they may have been labeled, but not a lot of them. All right, so we got to figure out which ones we want. Don't forget your little installation tool that comes with the kit itself. You probably saw that last week. And now our little installation kit comes with instructions. Even with glasses, I still had to use my phone to magnify this thing. Holy crap. Talking about some tiny, tiny, tiny lettering. So anyway, I already read it. Now I'm going to explain it. All right, so let's figure out exactly which fuses you really want to use. All right, so looking at your panel, let's figure out which ones we really want to use. Got to use the spectacles because I'm getting old. All right, so we need to find two fuses that we can actually use. I have my test light so we can figure out, just to make sure that they do work. Now, you don't want to hook this up to any kind of motors, i.e. windshield wipers. That puts a lot of feedback into the system most of the time. So when you click your windshield wipers, you'll probably hear it on the video. Don't want to do that. Hazards is another thing too. Every time they blink, they're going to have feedback through the system, and you might get some background noise. You don't want that. So you need two connections, like I said. You need one for ACC and one for battery on all the time. Now, the two that I've chosen to use one will be the dome light. Now, the dome light is on all the time. We're going to test that here in a second with my test light. But then that would be for the battery on all the time. Now we need something for ACC, which will run the system while the engine's running. So I'm going to look up here, and you have a one here for a USB. But the USB should be plenty adequate as far as power in order to run this thing. If you look up here, the USB is 7.5 amps. Now on our kit, we have 10 amp fuses. It's not much of a jump up, but we're also going to be running two things off the same circuit, so we should be okay. So anyway, let's crawl underneath the dash and make sure we got the right connections. Hopefully you'll be able to see. It's black on black interior. But we'll see. All right, we are underneath the dash. So we're going to ground our probe. Now the first one's going to be the dome light. Now the dome light, I do not have the key on. It is, so you should still get power. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. So we should still get power for this one. And we do. There we go. So light turns on, means we got power without the key on. So that is good. So we're going to use that one. Now the other one is USB. 5 down, 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, pull that guy out. Now, do we still have power? No, we do not. Which is good. That's a good start. Now let's turn the key on. All right, key is on. We should get power with all the beeps. There we go. We get power. Okay, so those are the two we really want to use. All right, so the main reason why I said we can't put the panel back on, well, the cover, is because of these guys right here, because they are a lot bigger than the other ones. But I guess we can work with that. There we go. So that guy's in there. Now battery plus, that guy's in there. Now the other connection that you need to do is your ground. So just find yourself a good ground. This particular panel right here has a bolt coming through that is connected to a metal bracket that is actually grounded to the actual chassis itself with a cab. So that is the one that I'm going to use. But anyway, so now you can't put your cover on, but put it in your glove box and you should be good to go. And then we'll run the wires behind the panel so you will not see them. So let's get this panel off. We're gonna get this panel off, because this one has to come off before that one. And then we're gonna run it through here, just like we did the other one, all the way up here, along this, and then along the roof line over to our camera, which is over there. Quick and easy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting rid of the old one because it's in the way. And then we'll come back, I'll show you exactly how we ran the new one. All right, so I'm rounding everything in. As you can see, it is nice and neat. I do gotta cut my tire wrap here. Tire wrap's looking a little nasty. Anyway, right it up here, all up inside. Oop, it's hanging. Put that guy back in there. Anyway, all right, so it goes up here, goes along the roof line, all the way over, all the way down here. Now, started coming down here, there's a nice little pocket right underneath this little weather molding. Beautiful, beautiful, ran into a problem. This box. Now if I tuck that in, that box is gonna land right there and I won't be able to shut my door. Not cool. I've actually thought about putting it that way, all the way down and then all the way across, but there's not enough length to actually make it to the fuse panel. The only thing else I can do is take that and put it over here and then run it down, but I don't like that because I like it where it's at because I can't see it because of the mirrors in the way and I don't want to be distracted with it. I do put it on that side, so I'm not worried about it. So, options. I can see if they have one that is longer. I don't believe they do, but I can look. Or cut it, splice it. It's just power, really, so we should be okay. And hey, look. What a coincidence. I have power. I have a cable just like that one, it looks like. So anyway, I'm going to chop this up, splice that in there to give me a little bit more length. So this box can be right behind this panel. Because the sad thing is I only need like 8 inches. Sad. Alright, I'm going to cut this open and see what it's about. I'll let you know if it works. Alright, here we are on the bench. And what you're going to need here would be some good strippers. I love these things, they're awesome. Then you're gonna need heat shrink and heat shrink and heat shrink. And you're gonna need some wire. Now I did find some wire here that I was actually able to be able to use. Now what I wanted to do was actually use the original one, but as you can see, it's a 2-wire. Just power negative, that's all I use. The other one is 3 wires. I was kind of hoping that the 3 wires would have gone into the box and then just this will be the controller, but it's not, it's at the actual machine itself, or the camera. So if you look on this side, I've already did one side. And so I have heat shrink on all three of these, and then I have heat shrink to go up for these other connections here. And then when I'm all done, I have another bigger heat shrink that's going to go over everything. So all we have to do now is splice these into there, heat shrink it, put the other heat shrink on, and then we should be able to install. Excuse me, install. And like I said, I only needed 4 inches. I gave myself, looks like about 6 or 8 inches. So we should be in okay shape. So let's splice these and keep going. Like I said, I love these things. Alright, so I had a small correction. The heat shrink that I cut was too short, so I pulled it apart, pulled it in there. But the good thing is I didn't solder it yet. I'm starting to solder now. So basically just get some regular electronic solder or electrician solder. I'm going to use a regular pencil. And then we're going to solder these joints. Should get it coated, heat it up, get it all inside the threads. Or the, whoop, don't touch them. Alright. There are 3, so do all 3. Alright, now that we have all 3 soldered, we're going to put our heat shrink on. Now ideally, if you would want to stagger these. I didn't do it on this one. I feel like I'd be okay with the size of heat shrink that I have. But if you stagger them, then you won't have a lump, a lump, and a lump instead of one big ginormous lump where all the cable stuff are. But this should work. Alright, now since all of them are soldered on both ends, I went ahead and did that one earlier, but showed you that one. Anyway, once it's soldered, then you'll be able to pull these through. So we got it on both sides. Now, heat shrink it. Alright, our splice is in there. It's all heat shrinked up, and then heat shrinked on top of heat shrink, soldered, and ready to be put back in. But before you put it in there completely, plug it in, test it out, see if it works. If it don't work, you gotta do it again. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. Alright, I just tested it. Everything is working out great. So now we just got to reroute the wire again all the way over, and hopefully we get enough slack. So anyway, let's get it in. Why not? Let's hurry this thing up. Alright, got to clip the tie wrap. Once again, it goes underneath, all the way out. Gets tucked in behind here. As soon as I put everything back right. Anyway, there's my box. So it should be able to land right behind this panel, and that would be perfect. First, let's get this guy up. Should be easy. They're just clips. There you go. This guy has a little tiny thing right there. Let's turn the light on. Maybe you can see. Look at that. See, little guy there, but then this panel should come right out. Alright. Now when you pull these panels off, just remember there's a tab right here, and there's supposed to be a tab right here, but it's not there because it's right here. So make sure you get this guy out and put it back onto your panel. So when you put it back on, bam, everything is where it needs to be. Does it go like that? Does it go like that? I don't know, gotta figure that one out. But anyway, so there we are, right behind the panel. Now what I'm gonna do right now is actually pull this guy off and be able to tuck it underneath so it will be completely out of the way. Maybe. Where's my wrench? Got my wrench. Oh, hello there. Thanks for watching. And if you really like it, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you really like it, go ahead and hit the like button. And go ahead and comment because I want to hear what you have to say. Could be good, could be bad. I don't know. Let me know. And if you really want to send anything to the channel, help us out, whichever. Here's a P.O. box that we opened up in case you want to send something. I'll do a video and see what it is. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of the show. Alright, so I took this bolt out just to tuck it in underneath. It is not pinched. Doesn't seem to be anyway. So we're just going to be able to tuck that in. go ahead and put a tie wrap on the excess, and I'll stick it right here in the door. But as you can see, hopefully you can see it, everything is wired up. You got your dome light, you got your USB port, and you got your ground. So now you should be able to stick this guy back on and not see any of it. Well, that was a lot harder than it needed to be. Let's put our side panel back on correctly. Alrighty, now we're back inside the truck. Now don't forget to put your panel, since you can't put it back on, put it in the glove box, because you need to know where everything's at. It's in the owner's manual, but it's so much better when it's on the cover itself. Alright, let's see what it'll do. Let's put the key in, put some ACC power to it, see what we got. Alright, should be ready to go. Got my key. Turn it on. There we go. Redtiger. Alright, so now we're booted, but now we have to turn the system on. So you want to hit your menu button, which is the center button. We're going to go down over to settings, click on, and then we need to go to parking, which would be the up arrow. Go to the few screens here, P for parking. Now you can do the G sensor, which will be trigger on impact. So let's turn that on real quick. Alright, now we go back to the main screen, see if it works. I'm going to turn the key off. Key's in my hand. Alright, there you go. ACC power off. It is off. Now, if it has a G-force, somebody hits you, see what it does. Red light came on. There you go. So now she's booting up. Now it's going to be recording front and rear. So if somebody hits you, you probably won't get the picture of the impact, but you'll be at least be able to get it, whoever actually is looking at your car, backing away, license plates, that type of thing. But there's another way. Turn ACC back on, go to settings, go back to parking. Now the other one's a time lapse for 12 hours or 24 hours. Now if you are leaving it for a long period of time, let's say you're at the airport or whichever, you probably want to put it on G-force so it does not drain your battery. If you time lapse it for 12 hours or 24 hours, it is going to start draining your battery. Now there is a safety unit on this particular system that will shut everything off if the battery level gets too low, so at least you have enough battery to start the car. If you're just going to go to work, you're going to go to wherever, park it overnight, probably just go ahead and time lapse it. 24 hours, 12 hours, whichever, and then you should be able to have whatever. You can get the picture of the impact, get the picture of their license plate, somebody, whatever. So it'll actually do front and back and record everything as long as your card is big enough. So I'm going to do 24 hour for right now, and then there you go. So then you come back to menu. There you go. Simple as that. All right, that's a real quick, simple way of actually hardwiring your camera into your truck or whatever in order for the parking assist to be able to work. Now, that particular kit cost me about 20 bucks, 25 bucks, I think, something like that, to have it shipped and everything like that. I think they sell it on Amazon. This should be fine. Get free shipping. It was a little bit of a disappointment that it wasn't long enough, but it's supposed to be a universal kit, and it just needs to be a little bit longer for this particular application. If I had my daughter's little Mazda, probably gonna be totally fine, and I can just run into the kick panel and everything will be fine. Or I could have just moved the camera. I didn't want to do that. So we modify it. Real quick, real simple. It's, you know, heat shrink, so it should be weather tight-ish. It's also inside the cab, so it's not gonna be, hopefully, not in any kind of weather. So anyway, check out the other installation on when we actually plugged it in the first time, and see if that's actually something for you to do. Now, I was the sponsor of this show. Nobody sent me any of this stuff, so I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little disappointing that it was that short. But you get what you get. Anyway, check out everything else. Until next time, take it easy, have fun, as usual, and get out there and put it in yourself. Later. Yeah. Clean installation, that's what you got to do.